Hello. I haven't made a video in quite a while, but today the topic I would want to talk about is how to deal with aggressive people or, for example, bullying. You know, the best way to deal with it. Though I'm not saying that my method will 100% work, every person has different ways that they treat other people, so everyone has their own coping mechanisms, so I'm not saying that it's like a 100% guaranteed way to deal with them, but I guess I just wanted to add a few tips if you're struggling through something like this. So I guess the first thing you should do is if someone is like very aggressive towards you or mean, then as cliche as it may sound, the best thing to do is to ignore them. As simple as that may sound, it is very effective because a lot of people just want to get a reaction out of you. So if they don't get one, they don't know how to react. And also, a good thing to do is to have some friends to support you while you're being, for example, bullied or you have aggressive people in your life being mean to you. Because when you just keep getting yourself stuck in these scenarios where someone is keep getting aggressive to you or making fun of you for your ideas, after a while you kind of start to question if your ideas are even good. If you basically have everyone around you that basically makes fun of your ideas, or you basically have no one to talk to, there might be instances where you start to question if you even have good opinions or if you even are a good person, and you might start to self blame everything upon you. That's why it is good to be friends with normal people who actually understand how you feel, so you might feel like you're finally not going crazy. Because even having even one person who understands you and doesn't judge you is like very good. Though I know that getting friends, in today's society is quite enough hard, especially if you, for example, are in a surrounding where there aren't a lot of people, and finding online friends can also be difficult. I found that a really decently good way on how to make friends with people, at least for me, so, for example, go on a video where that basically is about how to make friends on Discord, and then in the comment section of that video, for example, write, "Hey, this is my Discord channel, and you can be friends with me if you want." It's actually a very effective way to get friends. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but at least one thing that you will have in common with the person you're being in friends with is that you're both probably lonely. Because if you go to a video that the name of it is basically about how to make friends on Discord, then it probably means that you're both very lonely and that you're probably both very introverted. So there's a very high chance that more likely chance that you might actually meet someone with a similar personality to yours. So I guess those are the first two things that you should do if you are struggling with something like that. Have ignore the people that talk with you, that do this to you, and have some friends to support you so you feel like you're not crazy or that you're wrong. Because it can sometimes be very overwhelming, and after a while, you might actually feel like you're the ones who's to blame for what happened, even though it obviously isn't. It's an understandable reaction to have. When everyone is against you, you start to question your sense of self. It's like you're being gaslit into thinking that every evil person is actually good and that you're the evil one, which can be sometimes difficult. Now, for example, regarding bullying or aggressive people, I guess one thing I want to talk about now is the reason as to why they probably act the way they do. Most of the time, the reason as to why people turn out this way is because they probably had a very bad childhood, making them more aggressive, making them feel like other people have to experience the things that they suffered, or that they feel like they have the right to make other people suffer. The reason as to why a lot of people are able to be so mean is because, in a way, they find twisted justifications to find a reasoning as to why not to feel guilty. They just basically find some fucked up reasoning as to why they're doing what they're doing, and in a way, they basically kind of escape from their emotions that way, and that's the reason as to why they can continue doing these things. And the more they continue doing these things, the harder it is for them to accept that they're wrong, because the more they keep doing it, the harder it is to accept the consequences of your actions. Because if you would have to accept them, you would have to basically accept a big ass punch of the realization that you have made a lot of people suffer. So the more they do it, the more twisted their justifications become, because they know that if they let go of these justifications, they'll go insane from the amount of guilt that they have to admit that they have done to a lot of people. That's why a lot of people, for example, are aggressive and have very close-minded views when talking to people, or a lot of bullies bully people. They've been doing it for so long that they just can't back down. It feels like they've been doing it for too long, and accepting that they're wrong is accepting like most of their life they've been doing something horrible. And even if they're aware of it, they themselves don't want to admit it. And it can sometimes be very hard to reason with these types of people because it just sometimes feels like it's impossible. Some people are so far gone that it's basically almost impossible to save them. But there are some ways to, for example, get on an even ground with people like this. I guess one thing I specifically want to talk about is that a lot of people, they always have these cliches things of, oh, if you're getting bullied, talk to an authority, you'll always be kind because kindness is always going to save you from danger. No, that's not how always works. There's a lot of instances where you're in a situation where no amount of crying for help will help you at all. No amount of kindness will help you. Sometimes you need to stand up for yourself and have the courage to stand up and not let other people be able to toy with you. That's why you should have friends to support you. And one of the best ways to do that is to talk in a monotone voice. In my opinion, talking in a way too aggressive of a tone or way too overly kind of a voice are both very bad. Being an aggressive one is not good because obviously if you have a bully and you're going to become aggressive towards them, they're going to have even more of a justifications to make fun of you for, acting like a baby, or they feel like you're just not in the right sense of mind to be criticizing them. But being overly kind might seem like a good idea, but it really is not, because it might make the person you're talking to even more aggressive, because it makes them feel like you're mocking them. And mockery is like one of the worst things you could do to someone aggressive, because they'll probably become even more aggressive than normal and put up a lot of like defensive emotional walls so that you can't get to their heart at all. And the way they will behave will probably be even worse than how their behavior normally is. So it's just not, in my opinion, overall a good idea to be, overly kind. Even though it might seem like a good idea to be kind, you need to stand up for yourself. You can't just let other people toy with you. You need to stand up for yourself while being kind and understanding. Being able to say no, but also being kind is the best way to deal with the toxicity of this world. You can't be too aggressive or too kind. People pleasers nor aggressive people are gonna make it anywhere in the world. That's why, when handling people like that and you have no other way to deal with them besides talking to them, or you want to actually stop it or, make your message about what they're doing be heard, is to talk in a monotone voice. What I mean by that is to talk in a calm demeanor, not be too aggressive nor too kind. Because one of the reasons as to why most of the time your pleas are not heard when you are too kind or too aggressive is because, a lot of people can interpret your words differently. Like, for example, when you're too aggressive, people can think that you're just not in the right sense of mind to be saying this stuff, or when you're too overly kind, it just feels like none of your words are genuine and that you're just mocking them. When you're in a monotone, emotionless voice, there isn't exactly different way for people to interpret your voice, because how else are you supposed to interpret emotionless words besides just the textbook definition of them? That's why if you really want your words to be heard when discussing with someone, being the bigger guy by being the calm one will definitely embarrass the person that you're talking to way more, making them look like the dumbass. That's why it's a good idea to do that, because if you just act aggressive, then you'll be the clown of the joke. On the other hand, if you remain calm, stand up for yourself, but also try to be understanding, but say all of it in a calm, emotionless, monotone voice, there's just a very higher chance that your words might be heard to other people, and you might look like the bigger guy, embarrassing the person, or maybe even the person themselves will actually kind of reflect on what they did. So yeah, I think you should also do that with people who are, for example, finally realize that they were wrong. If you, for example, find someone who's usually very aggressive, or, a bully, emotionally broken down because they realize that what they did was wrong or something like that, you should never try to get revenge on them by saying, "Hey, look, this this is how I felt the entire time. You deserve this," or something like that. Or you shouldn't be too overly kind to them, because they'll just put up a lot of defensive walls because they were basically caught in a moment of weakness. The best thing to do is best way to treat people who are very emotionally broken down is to be kind of calm and chill, I guess, if that's the right word for it. Be very calm in the situation, because if you're very calm, then the person that you're talking to probably won't put up a lot of defensive walls, and there might even be a chance that you might even finally understand why they've been doing the things they've been doing. Actually, stopping a bully from doing bad stuff is hard, I'm not saying that you should try it. It is a very risky thing. Though, if you get in a situation where you have a chance at actually making them finally understand how you feel, then talking in a calm demeanor is probably the best course of action, because there is an actual chance that they might listen to what you're saying because they are now in a moment of weakness, and you shouldn't take advantage of that moment of weakness because you will basically just make things even worse, and they'll just probably be even worse. That's why it's the best thing to do in these types of situations is to be calm and try to explain to them what they did was wrong and let them talk as well. Usually, every bully has a reason for their actions. That's not saying that their actions are justifiable, but I don't think there's a single person that just becomes a bully for no apparent reason. Most people have a justification for it. Some people have been doing it for so long that they're completely gone and it's pointless. Some people just started out doing bad stuff and they might still have a chance to, get out of this hellhole. If you see someone who might still have a chance that you could try this, but again, it's risky. If you want to try this, you really need to know if the person is willing to listen to you or if they have some redeeming qualities. You should always do it when they're in their moments of weakness. You should especially not do it in a place where there's like a lot of people that they have next to them, because if they have other people supporting them, then your words will be completely unheard. So, yeah. If you, for example, are bullied very often, talking in a very emotionless, monotone voice and telling them why they're doing what they're doing, and and if when they're going to be on their deathbed, if they're going to be content with the life that they're living, or just talking in a very serious, unbothered tone, there might be a higher chance that your words might be heard instead of covering in front of them, which is hard to do. But it's just kind of a thought that kind of popped up into me, is that the best way to treat any aggressive people, not just bullies, is to just treat them calmly, to look like the bigger person in the argument. Very high chance that people might actually listen to what you're saying if you talk calmly, because there's no other way that people can interpret your words. So, yeah, I guess that's the all I wanted to talk about. I'm not exactly sure if I even have the right to talk about this topic because I actually myself haven't been personally bullied. And I know that for a lot of people they can't exactly do anything, and for some people they literally can't do not they literally can't do anything. They're just in an environment where everyone hates them and all they have to do is just suffer. If you're in an environment like that, then try to make some online friends like I said, because I know that things might look very hard, and I'm really sorry that you're experiencing that. But I like to believe that if you're going through a bad period of your life, then it just means that very soon things will start to look up for you. Good experiences come from bad experiences in the past, and even if it might seem completely hopeless, I know you can do it. I might not have the right to talk about this since I've never actually experienced stuff like this on such a degree of a level to give out this type of advice. I was kind of debating for quite a while if I should make this video since, I'm not sure if I'm knowledgeable enough to make a video about this topic. But I guess I just wanted to make my opinion heard on how it could be dealt with or what you should do. I just really hope that whatever you're going through or the reasons why I clicked on this video will be resolved and that you will finally be able to find some peace and quiet in the suffering that you are enduring right now. Hope my video helped a little, and I really hope that you are gonna get better. If you have better ideas on how to deal with bullying or your own experiences, you can share them down in the comment section and talk to me about it or talk to other people about it. I'm not sure if my opinion exactly on this is the best, but you know, because if you don't have some critique of this video, then you can go to comment section and write me. I don't mind at all. So yeah, I hope that you are gonna get through whatever you're doing, and I believe in you. Good luck.